Hi Drew, I hope you are feeling better. Thank you for watching all those videos yesterday and getting all of that math work done. This is going to be a two-part longer video, so you definitely want to watch through the whole thing. But Drew, I'll try to pause the video when I'm having students do Paradox. So I have your document pulled up, and I got this question yesterday as an email. So Drew, I had Joshua start on the what part. That's the concept of what is the War of 1812. Yours, Drew, and then Joshua later on, I'll help you both, and we're going to make our second video together with both of us in it, is how does it change over time? So that's the tricky part. So the first part, Drew, and I kind of wanted to give you more time to recover, was like, what is it and what's the relationship like between US and Britain? And I had Joshua do that part. Now here was the question that I got it from two people yesterday. So do you guys see this hyperlink right here? And Drew, thanks for doing this. Okay. Some of you said, I forgot to put the hyperlink on. The hyperlink actually is probably the most important part. Because if you forget to put the hyperlink on, when we do something called works cited, you will forget where you got the source from. You have to be able to cite your sources. Now, this is what's called a works cited. I call it works cited, but maybe I call it works cited because it's more like articles. Raise your hand if in research before you guys have done something called a bibliography. None of you have? Uh-oh. Okay. A bibliography is like, where did you get your sources from? Raise your hand if you've seen something like this before. Uh-oh, that's a little concerning. Okay. Usually most of the students when I teach in 5th grade, they've seen something like this before. This is one article, this is a second article, this is a third article. So this is like at the very end of your entire research, you write a page that shows where you got all of your documentation from. When you get to college, high school, you have to do a works cited, or they call it a bibliography, and there's different styles of how to do it. So when I used to teach this lesson before, at my old school at Deerfield, I used to make my students, where was that page? Oh, I can't make it bigger. I used to make them hand type it with, so between, this is the person's last name, first name. There's 2 spaces between each period, and then this is the article name, The Handmaid's, what does that say? The Handmaid's Tale. Italicized. This is the source, the year. And I used to have them do it from scratch in order. And then I took my kids to a library and just to give them some more time. And it was funny, and it's kind of full circle. But Wilder's mom was the librarian. She actually still is the librarian at the time. She was like, hey, you know there's websites that help to make it a lot faster. Because Wilder's mom used to be an English teacher, right? And Wilder, what school is she at? Did she ever tell you? Yeah, no, she's there now. What high school is she at teaching? Did she ever tell you? No? Okay. She used to teach high school English. And she's like, hey, you know there's websites that help the kids do it much faster. So I was having my kids do it like from scratch with every single space in between. It's kind of painstaking. And then I'd have them, you have to alphabetize all of the articles. And she's like, hey, there's some shortcut websites for it. So I told Wilder's mom, like, I think my class would love you if you taught them these shortcuts rather than having me teach them from scratch. So ever since then, she's been teaching my class how to do these works cited lessons. So I reached out to her yesterday and said, this might be kind of full circle. It's a kind of a special moment for me, and the class is doing the same research project that I've been doing for the past couple of years that you and I worked together to teach the class on. Do you think you could come in on Friday to teach the class this works cited lesson? So she's going to come in on Friday and she's going to teach it to you. Because if she didn't teach it to you, I'm going to teach it to you from like scratch, like without any sort of AI help. And I think you guys will probably appreciate her help and her coming in to teach it to you guys. So she'll come in to do that lesson with you guys. So you do want to separate all of your sources, because the website that she'll show you guys, whoops, not that website, you'll need a link. So you're going to copy and paste in a link, and then it's going to spit out a works cited for you guys. So you want to have it on separate pages. So Caden, does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So if you don't want to combine 2 articles on one page for that works cited reason. Okay, next. Some of you were asking me about charts and graphs. So we're going to start this lesson on inductive and deductive reasoning. Let me get you guys logged on, and then I'll explain what that is. So let me pull this thing up. If you haven't gotten a computer yet, you'll need one. This is kind of a long lesson. It's not kind of, it is a long lesson. JoinPD.com, the code is GNBOVN. So Drew, there's going to be times when, during this video, when everyone is just writing in a response, I'll do my best to press pause, but you can just kind of scroll through the video. And then Drew, I'll be making a secondary video with me and Joshua in that video to kind of give you some pointers on like things you can research. But I know you're recovering, and thank you for being so diligent to watch through all of these videos. So in that lesson, when on this very front page here, it says find at least 3 to 5 graphs. Does everyone see this right here? This is 3 to 5 graphs with your group or your partner. So total. So in your entire file, you want 3 to 5 graphs. It can be 3 if it's a really good one. If they're okay, you can tell like you don't really have a good graph, you might want to find some more. Okay, and I'll talk about some different types of graphs that are excellent graphs and some that aren't so great. Let me check. We should have 29 students. Perfect. So these are types of graphs that you guys can be using. Some of you have asked me for my graph, if I have a picture, is that okay? What do you guys think? Yes, you can use a picture. Most of you don't have a diagram, but for instance, as an example, there's 2 of you that are talking about military strategies and how did weapons change over time. Diagrams work, okay? So you would analyze a diagram. This obviously has nothing to do with your topic, but this diagram would work as well. Propaganda is a type of cartoon. A lot of you are looking for things like these 2 right here, the bar graph and the line graph, and I'm like, hey, you can go beyond that too, as well. So any of these sorts right here would work for your presentation. Now, I've been telling you guys to save those pictures because later on, when we get to that week when we're creating the visual aid, I'll ask you guys, do you need help to print? And you can print out any sort of these graphics here. So, we're going to get to, there's 2 types of reasoning. The first one that's a little bit easier, and I'm going to teach it to you, and this is a lesson that I do usually with some older students. It's called inductive and deductive reasoning. There's 2 different types. So we're just going to do what we call inductive reasoning. So as an example, I'm going to write up here on the board. And I'll use something that I saw from when I was outside doing duty this morning. And I forgot that name of that dog again. Toby. These are some observations that I see every Wednesday. I have 2 duties a week. I love this duty only because of this reason. Every Wednesday, about 7:50 or so, this dog comes up to me. These are the observations I see of that dog. Thank you for reminding me of the name. It wags its tail, then it jumps on me, and then it licks my cheek. So these are my observations. My pattern recognition right here is every Wednesday when I'm standing outside on the street and I say good morning to some of you, and then I forget you're there. That's the pattern. These 3 things happen. What is the general conclusion that I can make? There is a few conclusions. Andres. Okay. Did I say dog here? No, but some of you already filled it in for me. Therefore, if there's 3 observations, Andres, say it again. What's that first word you said? Dog. It's a dog. Based off of these behaviors, and it's a pattern that happens multiple times, number 1, we can conclude that it is a dog. Because you guys have observations throughout your daily life. Number 2, what's another conclusion that I can draw from that? It doesn't say it here. But based off of your connections to the world, Kano, what's another one?
He's excited.
He's excited. What's another one? So the dog is excited. This is like kind of like an inference. What's another one? Alia. Okay, that was the answer I was looking for. So number one, we can conclude that based off of these observations, it is a dog. Number two, the dog is probably friendly. We use patterns to be able to form a conclusion. Let's try another one. This is probably a negative connotation. So, those of you in the back, if you can't see number one observation, cursing. This is actually true because I have seen a student do this one. Cursing. Two, leaving class in the middle of instruction to eat snacks. So, supposed to be in class, leaving class at around, I've seen it at 9:30 on a Wednesday to eat snacks when supposed to have instruction. The other one. Says gets into constant arguments with adults at 12:30 p.m. Now let's see this one, and you guys draw some conclusions. So again, it says one, cursing, pattern recognition, leaving class to eat snacks during instruction. Number three, gets into constant arguments with adults at 12:30. Constant is a pattern. So hint. What's then the conclusion we can draw? There's a couple here. Wilder.
They're a student.
Okay, good. One student. Let's see if you can grab some other ones. Here's a hint of what I'm looking for. Okay, all of you.
School.
Okay. Yeah, it's in school because you saw the word class. Let's see if you guys can figure out the inference I'm looking for. 12:30. Kaden.
Bad behavior at lunch.
Okay, so that's another conclusion maybe. So bad behavior. That's more of an inference. But I'm trying to have you guys come up with a reasoning based off of 12:30 p.m. Preeti. Yes. So there, well, actually it could be in 5th grade or because here's the thing. This is the pattern and behavior. If it's 12:30 p.m. on a weekday, where are you? On lunch. That's the pattern, right? So you know it's either 5th or 6th grade. This is the main one we're looking for. So we know one, it's a student, two, 5th or 6th grader, and then because of these conclusions, it can drive your behavior of maybe I don't want to be friends with this person, maybe they get into trouble often. Okay, so that kind of thing. So that's kind of what inductive reasoning is. It's going from the bottom up to draw a conclusion.
Maybe we could also do 3rd and 4th grade, because that one wouldn't use lunch.
They could be, yes. They could be. But think, arguing with adults, when are you around adults during 12:30? Usually it's supervisors, but it could be on the playground. Okay. So, firstly, I'm going to go off of this one real quick. Are you up there now? Okay. What type of graph is this? It's a what, everyone? Bar graph, okay. Some of you are pulling in bar graphs. And this right here, if you're looking at a graph and it's got this in it, you're like, cool, bar graph. And then it's got a title on it and you're like, okay, I think it's good enough. Copy and paste. Some of you, I've told you, it's not a good bar graph because you need what we call, is this called the X or the Y? You guys know? This is called the X-axis. This long one right here, I taught you guys in the beginning, this is called the Y-axis. If your graph does not have an X-axis and a Y-axis, so it's two factors right here, it's not a good graph. Does that make sense? You need two things to be able to compare and draw a conclusion from. So again, if it's a line graph and it's a bar graph, but there is one, no title, no x-axis, no y-axis, if one of those things is missing, skip that graph. You're not able to draw clear, conclusive data from that, okay? Truman.
What about the z-axis?
We don't need z-axis yet. You're not there. Okay, this, what is this a picture of? What might we call it? Benny, what is it called? Propaganda. Propaganda is a myriad of different facets. Sometimes propaganda is cartoons. Okay, so cartoons are always one person's point of view, and I'm going to have us do some practice here. So on the very back, I think it says stop school or back to school. What does it say? Oh, okay, look. It says funding cuts. This is the state government. But is this person, this man, is this a state government? No, he's representative of a state government, but we look at sometimes their body language of what are they showing to show you, what are they trying to say. The state government is turning his back on, what are these things here? Children, okay? Yes, Nora. He doesn't care. There you go. Good job. Okay. So we're going to do some practice here. Here's another one. When you look at pictures, and a lot of yours, I put in more pictures for this lesson because a lot of you have like very specific examples of pictures. That's a concept. So looking at this main protagonist in this picture, is this a male or is this female? Female. Now what do you notice between the difference right here? What is that? Okay, these are what right here? Men. What is this right here? A stairs. But normally this should be a elevator. What's easier to go up on? An elevator or stairs? Okay. Now if we look at, you have to look at the whole picture. Maybe the only, I would say, unimportant, but it's still important part is the artist's name. In the middle, if you look in very closely, thanks to some of you that zoomed in, what does that black box say? Career opportunities. And so this is for career opportunities for women. Those of you that are having a topic on women's suffrage and equality, this is a type of picture or political cartoon that's applicable for you. You could even screenshot it, the three of you, okay? So I put in this one purposely for you guys. Look, for a lot of men, look at his smug smile. These group of men get to go up an elevator, but oftentimes for women, they have to take the stairs. And it shows you how much harder it is for women to advance in their careers. Yes, Andres? Yes, that is a form of discrimination. So the three of you that are doing women's suffrage, if you look at this picture, you can take a screenshot. Okay, we're going to give you guys like 10 seconds, just in case you want to do it. I'm going to change the screen. Okay. So some of you have diagrams. This one is based off of like skin epidermis. This is layers of a skin. Some of yours is based off of equipment that people used over time and how it changed. You have to put side-by-side pictures of these diagrams. Let's do some practice. So line graphs, you need X and Y axis. I'm going to have us try. Maps work as well. Oh, let's see. This is a picture. Dorothea Lange. I've told you this name before. Can you remember where she's from? It's been a while. Jackson, you want to take a guess? This is a time period when a lot of people were really sad. That's a hint. Dinesh. This is the time period during the Great Depression when many people lost all of their life savings. Banks closed down. So in order to be able to get food supplies, they got these stamps or tickets. And so they had to wait in long lines. These are the rates of unemployed people. Okay. So you're supposed to analyze the photos. There's a slide that says something like, let's try this. Oh, right here. Okay, so let's practice. What conclusions can you draw from these photos? So we're going to try. The first couple ones will go kind of slow. Now, I pulled these photos based off of, it's still a little bit biased. And some of you, I asked you, hey, analyze the past, but now connect it to the present. This is present times. but I pulled it from a newspaper, so I'm still going to talk about that in a moment. So this is a graph, and it's got two X and Y axes on it. The first one is got the number up at the top, right here. And then this one is right here, but this is a couple years ago. Okay, so that could also be changing too. So, but here's the question. Do Americans support military action against Iran? You could draw this to kind of modern times. 2019 is still pretty modern. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys, looking at this graph, what can you tell about people? These are the different political parties. Now I'm going to ask a question, so let's see. So Drew, this is the part where you can kind of like scroll through the video. Actually, I'll pause the video here. Okay, so everyone put your name in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So these are very general conclusions. This is the first part. Everyone's got different opinions. Okay, this one's a good one. Republicans strongly support the war, while Democrats stand against it. Good. I was looking for that one. Nora, come get a scorecard. This one is a little bit better. The Republicans also getting more prideful. Almost 80%. When you guys are doing this slide right here. Yeah, thank you. This part, you guys remember this box? Yeah. Some of you started writing in it. And some of you, you're like, I'm stuck. I left it blank. Great. And I said, don't worry, this is what the Wednesday lesson is for. I'm looking for things like 80% support it. Okay, so Jackson, good start. Most people are going to do this something like this. Barely any Republicans opposed. That's true, barely. But how much is barely? So I'm looking for some numbers. This one's good. 77% of Republicans strongly support the action against. Now, to take it the next step further, Ishan, and actually everyone, let me hide this page. In your significance, what I was looking for is if you can do some mathematical differences. Everyone look up at the screen. Some of you are spacing out a little bit. Some of you, I knew you would get this part. You would say 77% are in support of the war with Iran. But you want to contrast that. 77 minus 14. So the difference is where the significance is at. And you would say something like 63% as a difference. There's a 63% in a difference in Republicans versus, because you do 77 minus 14. That's for Republicans. But the Democrats, 50%, are somewhat in support, and 31% are strongly in support. So if you look at the difference between the Democrats versus the Republicans, this is about a 60% difference. This is about a 20% difference. So 60 to 20. And you do a 2 out of a 6. And if you simplify 2 out of a 6, that's going to give you a third of a difference. The quantitative, that's the numbers. That's the significance we're trying to look for. You guys kind of see the difference? Mm-hmm. Some of you are saying, oh, usually the Republican support. I knew most of you would say that. But that's your topic sentence. You then would say, oh, then you would say from the graph we can see that 77% support it. But the significance is when you subtract some of your numbers or you add some of your numbers. Let me see if some more of you got it. I was predicting that most of you on the first answer would not get it. This is a topic sentence, okay, Logan? I figured most of us are going to be here. Okay, better. 50%, okay, Chantal, that's your claim. The significance, I don't think most of us, I knew most of us would not get it. Yep, okay, so 77. Okay, so Andrea Chantal, you can come get this one. This is your claim. So topic sentence again is the Republicans support, Democrats mostly don't support. Then you would talk about 77%. Okay, most of us did not get. Okay, better, Lucas. So this one is a claim right here. That's good, Lucas. Come get a scorecard. Cody, good. Okay, I'm going to stop and let's go to the next slide to try. So this one's a good graph. It has an X and it has a what? Y-axis. I pulled this one though. This could be biased. I pulled it from New York Times. So this is from this summer. Okay, so from 2023, that's September. Sorry, you might have to zoom in a little bit. Okay, this is based off of LA. So most ICE raids in LA are people with no criminal history. Now, that title could be changed a little bit. But here's what we're looking at. The percentage of ICE arrests from October 2023 to July of just last year. That's our summer break before you guys started 5th grade. Okay, so you might have to scroll in a little bit. This is the percentage of people with no criminal history. So based off of that, and then this one's kind of important here too. So what do you notice here? This is Trump's inauguration. That means when he became president. So this is after January 2025. Trump became our president. And then what do you notice about the numbers? Now, to help you out, please do not write as your response that there was a large number of people that got arrested in May to July. That's a claim, that's okay, but can you take it a step further? Think, can you compare the difference from here and here? That's the significance. The claim is, we noticed that in July 2025, there was a 70%. What's the significance? Do it from here to here, or even when ICE raids first started, from here and here. You have to do some math calculations, okay? So, what is the significance of this chart? Go. Please also do not write that the patterns of arrests go up and down. That's a claim. It could be true, but that's not the significance of this chart. What is New York Times trying to show its reader? Be more specific than that, Paula. So in your answers, I'm trying to look for some numbers. Think about differences. You should probably be doing some sort of subtraction here. That's the claim. That's the obvious part. Leave it. It's okay. But then you want to go a step further. Okay, Drew, so you want to also look at the types of answers of what we're looking for. And I know it's kind of been hard since you're not here, but when I'm asking you what's the significance of your chart, that's this part right here. Okay, so it's like the differences. How much exactly did it increase? I'm not asking you to tell me what the numbers are. I'm asking you, why is it important? Okay, so I'm going to lock your guys' screens. Make sure your name's on it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's see what some of you got. Although this time around, much better answers. You guys don't, so some of you are still starting it off with, in July, that's the highest amount. That's okay, that's your claim, right? In July, maybe because it's hot, temperature, people are angry, there could be ice arrest, okay, maybe. But the significance is, you should have added it, hey, this person that created this timeline is trying to show you, since Trump was inaugurated, this is, what number is this? 35%. And then now in July it's 70%. You should have done some subtraction of 70 minus what number, guys?
18.
No, 35. Okay, 35. And then, or you could have done 18 that was its lowest, right before you could have also done a significance of, hey, right at the end of spring, it was at its lowest from 18%. But then if you do 70 minus 18, that should have been 52% increase. It nearly doubled. More than doubled, actually. It nearly doubled. It increased by about 50% from the end of spring to summer. That should have been the significance, okay? That's one of them. The other one you could have done a difference is from Trump's inauguration, this is at 35, you do 70 minus 35. Okay, so that's another one. Let's see what you guys got. 52% Amelin, good? That's a good one. So this is a great conclusion you can draw. Our ICE arrests, because of Trump's inauguration, 52%, good. It went down, ICE arrests went down 18%. Okay, good. Increased by 52%. I was looking for that number. Ishan. Let's see. Notice difference of 35, Lucas. ICE was arresting more innocent people. Okay, Jordan, good. But then after that, this sentence, then you would go into like the differences, quantitative differences. Jordan can come get a scorecard. Lowest point, 18. Okay, good. Kaden. 18, 52% more. Truman, good. I told you yours was good. Malcolm, good. About 40% number students would go down. So good, Nora. It went up almost 60%. Good, Nora. Jackson. Jackson, yours is still an observation. You have to go a little bit more, okay? You have a start there. Alia, come up. Jumped up by 70%. 7%. Andres? Significance. London, good? London. Chantel? Percentages. This is a claim, and no name on this one. There's a claim. You have to do a little bit more significant. This one has a no name. That's I told you guys to put your name. Joshua, good. Preeti, good. Come up. Alina, good. Aubrey, come up. Right there. Benny, come up. Just take one. Jesse, come up. Jordan, come up. Jordan, Sarah. Okay, I think you guys are getting it. Kieran, come up. We're going to move on to a different type of chart. Paula, come up. And then Asher, come up. So George, yours is like a claim. Needs to be more quantitatively specific. Logan, come up. Avier, come up. Cody. Keon, come up. Okay, you guys get it. Let's move on to a different type of chart. This one. What is this type of picture called? Propaganda. Okay. This one's actually from New York Times. It was recent. You guys should all know who this guy is. And oftentimes propagandas are designed to make people look a certain way. So this is based off of New York Times. So firstly, New York Times is Democratic. So based off of that fact, and also look at his facial expressions, the color, it's a little bit of a mockery. Look at the background. Do you think New York Times appreciates our president? Okay. No. Okay, so that kind of tells you that our newspaper's point of view. Do you guys know who this person is? Okay, that's Joe Biden. Who's Joe Biden, though? The last president before Donald Trump. Okay, so this one is called Passing the Torch. You might have to zoom in. Do you guys know how to do that? You might have to zoom in, look at these things right here on this side. What is this? What is this? Do you guys know what this is right here? What was this supposed to be? No. This is a what, Kian? It is a type of infrastructure. This is something that Donald Trump promised to do before. He said it in like one of his inauguration addresses. Jordan, do you know what that is? It's a wall. What did he want a wall for? Do you guys know? Nishan. Yeah, he wanted to put up a border Mexico, and he kept saying in his previous term, he's like, I'm going to put up a wall to keep out these illegal immigrants. And sorry, even I was trying not to have a tone like that. And it kind of shows you my personal beliefs. But anyways, he wanted to construct this wall, and he kept saying it that he would do it, and then the 4 terms of his year passed, and it never finished. So it's still sitting there. So that kind of tells you also this illustrator's point of view and perspective as well. Propaganda is always opinionated of some sort. Okay? So what do you think this artist is trying to tell you? No, you put it in the answer. Some of your topics, your PBL topics, are highly opinionated. 2 of you, this is directly your topic. So what is the significance of this picture here? Look at the background. It's not just the facial expression. And there's something that to be said about the gasoline in the front pictures. And if you don't know, think about maybe what your parents have said about prices of gasoline as a thing for you. True. So this is our second propaganda. It's political, and it's from Washington Times. Images of our president. Now, hopefully you've seen a picture of our president before, but based off of the way these cartoonists are drawing Donald Trump, number 1, and they're California newspapers. Can you guys tell? Does California support or appreciate our current president? What do you guys think? Based off of their interpretation. They're very against it. Now, do you guys know also, and I've mentioned it before, is California mostly Republic or Democrat? Do you guys know? Democrat. So for the most, not all, most of Californians, most people, they don't appreciate, 1, the war. They don't appreciate these ICE raids, building a wall. They do like the idea of having immigrants. But is every state in the United States Democrat? No. So if you were to perhaps, I'm going to use a very, very Republican state as an example. If we lived in Texas, the caricature or the representation or the point of view of Donald Trump might look very different. He might not look so silly. I'm going to use Truman. Yours is very cute as an example. The artist, if they were in Texas, might not draw Donald Trump as fat, chubby, and 1,000 pounds. He might look a little bit different, okay? Anyways, I looked at your guys' response. So here's what you guys should have gotten. We're closer. This one is a little bit easier. But most of us did not get this. All of you got the idea that Donald Trump feels like the problem is what? Is Democrats. Right? And Democrats are the real reason as to why we're having this war, although it's not. But most of you didn't get this part. Okay, so this was the significance I was hoping at least one person get. And most of us did not get this. You got, and a lot of us got that the reporters, their faces look confused and mystified, right? But this is the thing. How many people are here? How many people are here? 3. When 3 people, then their faces look a little bit mystified. There's this expression called power in numbers. When you think Democrats, and they usually look like they're a little bit stupefied, surprised. But in a sense, many people, when they're in groups together, they tend to believe. If everyone tends to believe someone, then usually they think, oh, that person must be what? Right. It's this problem. And it's a psychology phenomenon called group. You guys have never heard of this word. It's called groupthink. I'm gonna use this example here, and I've used it plenty of times before. Let's see. Oh. I've showed you this picture before, right? This is in World War II. This is Hideki Tojo. Does anyone have teeth like this?
No.
If you have teeth like this, one, you need to go see a dentist, right? But two, who has teeth like this? Rats, animals, predators, sharp canine teeth, right? Like a wolf or a coyote, as an example. But the idea is, if you say an idea repeatedly over and over enough again, people will tend to believe you. And then when everyone believes the same thing, the idea is called groupthink. It's literally a compound word, and it's group think. It's like two words, but it's one compound word. The idea then, and for most Americans, when they kept seeing this type of propaganda over and over again, they started to believe that the Japanese were the enemy. They were the villains. They were the reasons why we had to have war. For many in other newspaper magazines, currently the United States is in a war with Iran, right? And based off of certain types of newspapers and media, some people in certain states, they start to think this war is necessary. The people in Iran are corrupt, they are less than, they need the big brother America's help. That's based off of the propaganda, and everyone else around us is saying that. Not necessarily so in every single country. We'll use one more as an example. This guy. Can you guys see, and by the way, this hand signal should not be done again. People, oftentimes when they do this hand signal, it's got a very negative connotation. People don't do it anymore, and if you accidentally do it, usually it's met with a lot of negative responses. But let's see, this one. Can you guys tell what's in the background? There are fans, and those are people cheering him on. Now, this person that sent 6 million people to their deaths, usually most people would know that murder or homicide is wrong, but how in the world did we allow one person to influence everyone's minds that it's okay to send a group of people to their deaths? Why? It is the power propaganda, but there's more than that, Nora. Okay, that's one. But this is the power of what we call groupthink. If everyone is thinking the same thing, it must be right. It must be true. So if everyone is thinking that, one, people that are sick, people that are mentally disabled, physically handicapped, they're Jewish, they're the problems, everyone might start to think that it must be the problem of everyone. And number two, people were getting influenced for 7 years. It took 7 years from when you first became a leader to when what we call the final solution started happening where all these people died. 7 years. And when you have 7 years of propaganda, your hippocampus and what you call your frontal cortex gets influenced by propaganda. Okay? Frontal cortex is that ability to have control, self-control. That's the part you want to look at you too. Okay? We're going to end there. I think you guys are mostly getting the idea. So here's what I'd like you guys to focus and concentrate your ideas on. One, again, different graphs and different articles should be on separate pages. Don't clump it together. We need the links on it. But at this point, I'd like you guys all should be able to do duplicate slide. And you want to find at least 3 to 5 different types of graphs. Bar graphs, line graphs, diagrams, pictures are okay. Okay, so let's try to focus our time on that right now. You can use just regular Google searches on Google Images to look. If you're finding a line graph or a bar graph of some sort, it has to have an X and a Y axis of it. Okay. If you were outside working yesterday, feel free to go outside. There's only about 10 minutes, and then we'll have PE. We'll come back, and then we'll keep doing this still. So Drew, I'll end this recording, and then Joshua, I'll pull Joshua in a little bit, probably after PE to make our second recording.